I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC President Dana White announces Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will be the coaches of Tough Enough Season 31. UFC President Dana White took to social media this morning to announce that Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will serve as the coaches of Tough Enough 31. According to the UFC boss Dana White, Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will fight at the end of the season with a date and venue still to be determined. Okay, the weight class, Notorious and Conor McGregor and Michael Iron Chandler will be competing at was not revealed. That's interesting. That's interesting. You would imagine it would be lightweight, but okay. The Ultimate Fighter Season 31 does begin on Tuesday, May 30th. So that's like 4 months from now. That's a very long time. You can see the poster here. There's an announcement here. Obviously, I don't have the rights to play this video, but I will leave the link in the description. McGregor versus Chandler is confirmed. This has been announced by the UFC official Twitter. Okay, let me see. Do we have to get into any of this? Okay, let's just go real quick. Conor McGregor last fight was on July 21st or July 2021 versus Dustin Poirier. He lost that fight. Michael Chandler also recently lost to Dustin Poirier this past November at UFC 281. Michael Chandler has not the so impressive status of having 3 losses in his last 4 fights. Let me see. Conor McGregor had this to say about Michael Chandler. Hard to not be impressed. In a game of inches, he has been incredibly close each time. Could well be champion today. This is what Conor McGregor was saying about Michael Chandler. Let me see. Following his recent loss to Dustin Poirier at UFC 281, Michael Chandler had this to say about a potential showdown with the Notorious. I think at this point he'll come back and look at the suitors. I don't think I'm the easiest fight he could take, but I'm the biggest fight he could take. This is what Chandler said after his loss to Dustin Poirier. Okay, I think Conor McGregor stepping back into the octagon does do big numbers no matter what, but Conor McGregor stepping inside the octagon with me does staggering numbers. I respect him. I would love to see him back in the cage, and I'll be the guy that he comes back and fights. Wow. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is, wow, this is a little bit surprising. I think recently with the announcement of Jorge Masvidal facing Gilbert Burns, I think that took Masvidal off of the, obviously it took Masvidal off of the list of return fights for Conor McGregor. The second thing I want to say is that they say something, this is interesting. I don't know if this is just like a note, but it says the weight class has not been revealed. Now, I haven't followed every part of Michael Chandler's career, but I'm pretty sure he's always been a lightweight, maybe a featherweight, maybe featherweight, but I'm pretty sure he's always been a lightweight. I would not imagine Michael Chandler would go up to 170 pounds. So that's a little bit interesting. Conor McGregor, he has, he's been bulking up during his time out of the UFC, so you would imagine, I thought he would have came back versus, Jorge Masvidal and coach in the welterweight division, right? I thought this would be Conor McGregor coming back to returning in the welterweight division. But if he's going to fight Michael Chandler, I would imagine that would be in a lightweight division. And Conor McGregor, for, some people who do not know, I believe Conor McGregor's last win versus any contender in the lightweight division was versus like Eddie Alvarez. And I don't know if that was like 2015, 2016. It was like way more than 5 years ago, right? Which is why, with Conor McGregor's last victory, I believe Conor McGregor's last victory was versus Donald Cerrone. But that wasn't a welterweight division, right? That was a good victory for Conor McGregor. Some shoulder strikes, and he stopped Donald Cerrone in the first round. And then he had two fights. Well, before that, he had two fights. Conor McGregor had two fights versus Nate Diaz, and both of those fights were in the welterweight division, right? So Conor McGregor has not competed in the lightweight division since he fought Dustin Poirier, and he lost twice in a row to Dustin Poirier, right? Dustin Poirier tapped him out. Did he tap him out in the second fight? I know he finished him in the second fight. I don't know if it was a tap out or he knocked him out or something like that. And then in the second fight, it was a doctor stoppage. It was a doctor stoppage. Or the third fight was doctor stoppage. But yeah, this is interesting news. Now we have to talk about Michael Chandler. I would say this: I'm not Michael Chandler's biggest fan, as noted in this article. Michael Chandler only has one victory in his last three fights. His first victory in the UFC versus Dan Hooker. And then he lost like his next two fights, and then he had a victory over Tony Ferguson. But his most recent fight was versus Dustin Poirier, and did Dustin Poirier stop him in the second or third round? I think he stopped him. I'm pretty sure he stopped him. It was a pretty bloody fight. So I'm not Michael Chandler's biggest fan. I'm pretty sure there's other people wanted to be on Tough Enough with Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler is not the most likable character in MMA. I would say I think some people think he's a little bit fake. You know, with him and McGregor on, I think it'll do some numbers, right? But I mean, you would think McGregor and Jorge Masvidal would have definitely done way bigger numbers. So I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't make that fight. We'll see, but this doesn't start until May. So, I mean, there's like 4 months before we even get into the season, the Tough Enough season, right? So, I mean, this is a very, very long time. Obviously, there's going to be some talk leading up to May 30th between these two. Michael Chandler, he's going to do a great job of promotion. You know, like I said, I don't follow Michael Chandler too much on social media. I know not too many people love his personality on social media, but he is a good promoter. There's no doubt about it. As Tony Ferguson says, some people will say that this is Dana White privilege. Dana White privilege, right? Dana White privilege. But the one thing I'm a little bit happy about is that, you know, neither of these fighters are like necessarily in a title contention. You know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, Conor McGregor coming back and get a title shot, or Conor McGregor coming back and fighting Dustin Poirier again, or Michael Chandler getting, you know, one victory and getting a title shot. But this doesn't seem like that. This seems like, you know, a good fight for two top 10 contenders, but both fighters coming off of a loss. So we'll see. But also with the fight, that's going to take, who knows when that's going to happen, probably in like June, maybe July, maybe even August. Late summer gives time for Conor McGregor to re-enter the testing, the VADA, whatever testing pool they have. So that'll be good for Conor. But if we look at who's going to win this fight, I can't make a pick right now. This is not going to be an easy fight for Conor McGregor. I will say that, especially if it's at lightweight. You know, like I said, Conor McGregor's last win at lightweight was versus Eddie Alvarez, and that was like 2015 or something like that, 16 or 2014, one of those years. It's been more than 5 years, so it's been almost 8 years, 9 years. So Conor McGregor has won a fight in the lightweight division. As I said, his last two fights versus Dustin Poirier in the lightweight division, he got stopped in one, and then he had a doctor stoppage in the second one. But let me know your opinion of this this season of Tough Enough. Did you want another fighter to do this? You know, did you want Conor? I kind of wanted it to be in the welterweight division, so that's kind of my disappointment there, because I wanted to see what Conor McGregor looked like in the welterweight division, because it looks like he's been gaining, you know, a lot of weight during his time out of the UFC. I did not expect him to come back and cut all of that weight and go back down to the lightweight division. But I have no problem with Michael Chandler. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he will do a great job of promoting this. I really do. You can see, even like I'm reading this statement. Where is it at? You can even see in his statement. This is following his recent loss, following Michael Chandler's recent loss. Literally, this is what he had to say. He says, "I don't think I'm the easiest fight he could take, but I'm the biggest fight Conor McGregor could take. I think Conor McGregor stepping back into the octagon does big numbers no matter what, but Conor McGregor stepping back into the octagon with me does staggering numbers." Now, some people would think he's crazy, but I respect when UFC fighters, promote themselves. I really, whether I agree or disagree with him, I definitely respect that, after a loss to Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler could sit there with literally a straight face and really, really mean it, that like if Conor McGregor comes back, he should fight me and it will do good business. And I think Michael Chandler is gonna mean his words. I do think this is going to do really, really huge numbers because people don't necessarily like Michael Chandler as much. So it's going to be a fun season, and I don't think I'm going to watch it, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But I'm Jason UFC. Today we had a story about UFC President Dana White announces Conor McGregor will be returning, and he will coach season 31 of Tough Enough versus Michael Chandler. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button. And please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.